This current administration is doing nothing but walking into gun stores, mom and pop gun stores, going after the simple little small minor paperwork errors that people are making and trying to shut those gun stores down permanently who've been in existence for decades. And what we're doing is by bringing this lawsuit, we're saying, you know what, you need to stop that. What Congress says this is what you're supposed to do. There are a set of laws there and they should follow those laws, not step outside those boundaries. And so we're trying to put them back in those boundaries and say this is enough. It's impossible for anyone to do what we do and not make any mistakes at all. You get people that walk into the gun store to fill out a 4473, which is the firearms transaction record. There's 100 ways a person can mess up this form, if not more than that. There are 100 different inputs that you actually put on the form. Even customers make mistakes when it comes to their name, their middle name or their first name. They reverse it. On that little box that says county, they put country. That does not mean that that person is going to get handed a firearm and they're not supposed to. They're not a prohibited person. And so their license should not get revoked just for that simple little minor mistake. I'm actually getting phone calls from gun stores all around the country, as far as like Oregon, as close as Houston. You're talking mom and pop gun stores. Grandparents, great-grandparents have owned this store, and all of a sudden now, ATF comes in and inspect them, find a little paperwork error. Maybe they've made the same type of error because they didn't catch it themselves, and they're wanting to shut them down. And this is the only way that I can help them is by filing a lawsuit, kind of being on the offensive instead of the defensive. I think we're assisting all the gun stores in the country in getting the ATF back into the box it need to be put back into. I'm so grateful that I was able to sit down and talk with TPPF. This organization is the one organization that I thought would actually stand up for Texans and stand up for all Americans in the United States and fight the federal government when they're overstepping their bounds.
Your business is going to have technical problems. There's no question about it. Pacific Office Automation is your guide because problem solving is our passion. Every business is unique, no matter how big or how small the problem. From copiers and printers, telephone systems, managed IT, print services, and more, we offer integrated, streamlined office solutions to keep your office humming. With Pacific Office Automation, it's problem solved. Visit pacificoffice.com today to find out more.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, "I invoke my right to remain silent," and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings, because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs, but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative that you know your rights, and you shouldn't rely on the police to read them to you. Affirmatively invoke your rights. Say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent and my right to my attorney. Once you do that, the police legally shouldn't continue questioning you without your attorney present. But remember, there's a second part to this equation. After invoking your rights, you must exercise those rights. That means you have to keep your mouth closed. Protect yourself. Don't let the legal system take advantage of you after an incident. And Law Shield members, if you've been involved in a self-defense incident, remember to call the emergency hotline and speak with your independent program attorney.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my Bumpstock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bumpstocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bumpstocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The Bumpstock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bumpstocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bumpstocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome to Come and Talk It. Let's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. All right, so today we're going to talk about the Bumpstock update, give you a little bit about that and what's going on in several different court cases. We're also going to talk about what happened in Philadelphia. A young lady gets her car stumped on by a biker. Then we're going to jump over to, New Mexico. This guy pulled out a concealed handgun and shot at people at a facility here in New Mexico. And then, one of my Cheech and Chong brothers had a response to guns. We're going to talk about that. Also, should females be cops? Going to talk about that. There's a lot of controversy going around about this recent shooting incident with a female police officer. And then a teenager stabs an Marxist activist, anti-gun individual in New York.
Click the like button, share this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell, because that way you're going to get notified whenever we put out videos. They don't automatically do that, so click that button.
let's get into the Bumpstock case update. All right, so there's several cases that are headed toward the Supreme Court. You have our case has been postponed. It was supposed to be heard by the Supreme Court was going to meet in conference on October the 6th, on Friday. They didn't do that. They actually postponed the hearing, the meeting, to discuss the Cargill and Garden case. So what we're doing now is looking like they're actually going to look at this case on October 27th, when they're going to sit and discuss it and decide whether or not they're going to hear the Cargill versus Garland Bumpstock case. You have the Gudez versus ATF, that case. You have the Garland versus Hardin. All those cases are heading toward the Supreme Court, their desk. And I think what they're doing is they're wanting to get all these cases, bundle them all up together, and then pull the Cargill v. Garland case forward and have a trial on that one and discuss that case. The opposing case, there's another case out of Utah where an Obama-appointed district judge totally went against the grain there, which we knew that was going to happen. So a district judge in Utah issued a decision that stuck with basically her initial decision to side with the government, saying that they weren't going to uphold the ban like the Fifth Circuit did. So they went opposite of the Fifth Circuit and decided against us. And so that case doesn't matter at all. That case is so far behind us. It doesn't matter if where it is in the process. So we're not waiting for the opposing case at all. We're just looking at pretty much the Cargill v. Garland case and see what happens with that in the Supreme Court. So we're looking for that on October 27th. So we'll have a better update for you then. All right. So over in Wisconsin, a man was seeking governor. Was it Tony Evers? He was not at the Capitol at the time. The guy goes into the Capitol, takes a firearm into the Capitol, looking to see the governor, wanted to meet with the governor. And I'm surprised, when you say the Capitol, Zach, I think of like Texas, where we have troopers that are, on the grounds outside, troopers that are in the entrance. You go to the metal detector, whatever, or if you have your license, they swipe your license and then you can walk in and carry your firearm. For someone to make it all the way to the governor's office carrying a gun, demanding to see the governor before he's engaged by a trooper is just kind of crazy to me. That shows a lack of security for the Wisconsin Capitol.
I think it's even crazier that he got there shirtless.
Ooh. Yeah, and open carrying.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually shirtless, and he was open carrying.
Yeah, the law there is if you want to carry at the Capitol, it has to be concealed and you have to have a permit.
Yeah, so he was shirtless. He had a holstered handgun. He approached the governor's office on the first floor of the Capitol around 2 p.m. In the afternoon. And Department of Administration spokesperson said that the man was demanding to see the governor, who was not in the building at the time. So the way their Capitol is set up, the public has free access to the Capitol. You just come in and go, whatever. There's no metal detector or anything like that. And they're not planning on changing anything at all. Their security process whatsoever. And this governor was also on a hit list of people that some groups were actually trying to take out back in 2022.
Well, that was a bunch of feds.
Was it
the Whitmer kidnapping plot?
Yeah. Oh, you there?
Yes.
Was it? Oh, okay.
A bunch of feds.
All right, so let's go over to Philadelphia, where there's like some type of road rage bike ride or motorcycle ride or something like that.
Ride rage.
Ride rage. So you had a guy on a motorcycle. I guess he somehow got pissed off at a young lady who was stuck in traffic. Bunch of motorcycles. He jumps on her vehicle, jumps up and down, breaks her back window, and then when he jumps from her car to the ground, his pistol falls out, and he goes to reach for it, picks it up, and points it at her.
Yeah, she had a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old in the car.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh man, let's take a look at this video.
So he's stomping on the trunk, stomping on the back windshield, smashes it in.
Gun comes out.
Gun falls out of his pants. He reaches down and picks it up.
She gets out of her vehicle, walks toward him. He points the gun at her, puts it right in her face, and then headbutts her with this motorcycle helmet.
Wow.
She's a tough chick. She's
still walking up to him. And then pushes him off his bike.
She pushes him off the bike, yeah. And the guy gets away, and there's a cop that's right there. So he takes off, gets away. She goes to get her, takes her kids out of the car. And he's still right there. Yeah. Crazy scene. Philadelphia. City of brotherly love.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to say?
Uh-huh.
The city of brotherly love.
Beat me to it.
All that love in Philadelphia right there, boy. Nothing but the love. All right, so over in New Mexico, so you had a protester, at an event. Apparently they were protesting the statue of a Spanish conquistador.
Juan de Oñate.
Is that what it was?
Uh-huh.
And so chaos erupted, and there's some pushing, some shoving going on. Guy pulls out his concealed handgun and shoots one of the other people there on the other side of this protest event there. And I'm surprised he didn't kill him. Actually, he just wounded the guy. So the guy survived. He didn't die. And the dude runs away.
Jay hops over a little pony wall, and he's
Boom.
backing up and shoots the guy on the other side of the wall.
On a positive note, good way to pull out your concealed handgun. Good hand position, all of that kind of stuff on the positive note.
Yeah, terrible move, though.
bad move.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But he did well handling the firearm.
And the woman screaming, "Let him go!" So they let him go. He hops over the wall, backs up, and shoots the guy. And then plays with his hair. Yeah, you can't just be backing up and shoot people on the other side of the wall.
I don't know. I don't know the whole story behind it. What was going on as far as like who's on what side, and the fact that he was trying to rush into the building or rush up to the statue or whatever it was. I'm not sure what was going on there. But it's definitely not justified.
Yeah, it doesn't look very justified.
Not a justified shooting at all.
That looks bad. Don't do that. Yeah, so this woman is saying, "Let him go, let him go."
Got you on film.
Well, definitely the lady was responsible for getting him shot. Because they shouldn't have let him go.
When men are fighting, don't listen to the clucking men.
If you have a gun, you're not very intelligent.
Why's that?
Because you're paranoid.
Wait a minute. If you have a gun, you're not intelligent because you're paranoid?
Having a gun means that you're afraid that someone's going to come and attack you.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is that if you have a gun and if you think you need a gun for your house for whatever, if you think you have something that's worth someone else's life, then you are ignorant.
Well, I don't necessarily think that's what they think. They don't think that the gun is worth someone else's life. They think they don't want to get their life taken by a home invasion.
Yeah.
Which does happen.
Did you see that video of the guy that had a raccoon on his boat? If you have a gun, you're not very intelligent.
Why's that?
Because you're paranoid.
Wait a minute. If you have a gun, you're not intelligent because you're paranoid?
Having a gun means that you're afraid that someone's going to come and attack you.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is that if you have a gun and if you think you need a gun for your house for whatever, if you think you have something that's worth someone else's life, then you are ignorant.
Well, I don't necessarily think that's what they think. They don't think that the gun is worth someone else's life. They think they don't want to get their life taken by a home invasion.
Yeah.
Which does happen.
Did you see that video of the guy that had a raccoon on his boat?
So he's definitely smoked a little too much in his lifetime.
Tommy Chong doesn't have a fire extinguisher in his house.
He does. He doesn't.
No, because that'd be paranoid.
That'd be too paranoid, right?
He'd be paranoid of there being a house fire.
And he doesn't wear a seatbelt either because that's too paranoid.
That's too paranoid
So
that he'd be in a car accident.
He's not planning on getting into an accident, so that's why he doesn't wear a seatbelt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. Okay, yeah, all right.
Hey, that's why they call it dope.
He's definitely smoking a little too much. His brain cells are definitely gone.
He's not thinking about it in the right way either.
And then the story he's going to tell, like, what? are you talking about?
Yeah, he has no response to Joe.
well, hope I guess he doesn't have a stalker problem or anything like that. So,
What do you think? Are you just paranoid if you have a gun in your home?
I bet he has security. I bet he has a security system. But his security has guns.
Or he's a great candidate to rob.
Oh,
allegedly.
There you go. All right, let's go over to South Carolina. What is this? Mental health? Something's going on.
Sean! You don't touch my mother in my fucking house. You fucking hurt my mother. You fucking hurt my mother. No! Don't hurt my mother.
Back up.
You don't hurt my mother. You don't hurt my mother. Fuck up.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here in this one here. So she missed all shots.
She hit.
Oh, she hit the mother. The wrong person.
Yeah.
Not the person that's attacking her. Okay, training. No self-defense skills whatsoever. So no self-defense skills whatsoever. Not hitting, your threat, and not being aware of what's around your threat at all. And first of all, when you go to a call like that, when it's some type of like family disturbance or something like that, you should wait for backup to show up before you go in. Typically, that's what people will do. Don't go in by yourself, especially when it comes to domestic stuff. It pops off, obviously she was not strong enough to stop this guy and then use the right tools that were, accessible to her to stop this guy. Nightstick, anything.
Yeah, her physical strength was not comparable to that of this man's. And he probably has 50 pounds on her.
Right. It's like it brings up that subject of what people talking about, like women in combat. Should women serve? As far as like on the first line in combat, should women be police officers? And I think yes, women should be police officers. Yes, there's nothing wrong with a woman serving on the front lines, but they need to be able to perform.
Mm-hmm. We need standards
right.
that are across the board, because this woman is going in hot and she can't handle this man, and it's quickly shown that she's outmatched. And that's the case when you just compare women and men's physical strength. There's not much competition, right? So I can bench about 350, nice flex, but that's probably more than 90% of other men, but it's more than 99.999% of women.
Right.
There's a huge difference.
So there should be standards out there. We should have a set of standards and say, okay, if you can do this, past this, whatever, then boom, not a problem at all. You should be able to, go to that call or whatever. Because if not, they're just going to get themselves killed or get someone else killed or injure someone else. Like in this case here, end up shooting the mother, and not stopping the crazy son.
Yeah, she put more than just herself in danger.
Right.
She shot the guy's mom.
Right.
And then the partner had to come in, Spartan kick this guy to the head.
Straight to the face. I love that. Shut up. He's like, he didn't even think twice. It's like, bam, shut up. Knocked him out straight to the face.
So man had to come in and fix the situation.
Yeah. You're so silly. Oh, yeah, baby. So now we go to New York. So there's a social justice warrior, Ryan Carson, who was actually fatally stabbed after attending an event, trying to make it home one particular night. And the weird thing about this, Zach, is this guy is like anti, law enforcement, anti everything. about bail. We think bail is too high. Also, thinks that we're maybe certain people, I don't know, maybe people have been prosecuted too much. Or we're maybe prosecuting teens, too many teens at a young age or whatever. My whole thing about this is parents at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, late at night. How do parents not know their kids are not at home? That drives me, completely nuts. So this guy who's anti everything, doesn't like law enforcement. His girlfriend, you said Zach was she's
a Marxist.
And so when the police, after the stabbing, the police showed up, she didn't even want to assist the police in catching the guy.
They tried to get a description of the suspect, and she wouldn't give it to him because it would perpetuate harmful racial stereotypes.
So I have a hard time feeling sorry for this guy. I have a hard time feeling sorry for the fact that he was actually stabbed and killed. I don't care.
Yeah, it's New York City too.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. So he actually is a victim of everything that he's responsible for stopping. Mm-hmm. He's a victim of his own mindset. So he's sitting there right now at the pearly gates, standing before St. Peter, going, "Man, I guess I was wrong."
My dad used to say nothing good happens after midnight.
No, not at all. And then and what puts the icing on the cake is this guy, when police go in and nab this guy after chasing him, looking for him for 3 days, he's all sobbing and crying as he's coming out all handcuffed. But I thought he was mentally ill. He's got 18 years old. 18 years old. Stop using this excuse of, this happened to me. Something has happened to everyone. Everyone's had a freaking tough life. We've gone through 2020, gone through COVID, we all these different little things. Everyone's had a tough time. So we need to stop making excuses for people and hold them accountable, hold their family, their parents accountable for raising these monsters. And they always come on, the parents will always come on, talk about, oh my goodness, he's such a good kid, and oh, please don't hurt my son, he's literally raised a monster, a complete monster, released him on society. And I think we need to start people need to start caring and start sending these people, returning them back to the earth where they belong.
And the girlfriend has her own GoFundMe, and she's made over $60,000. It's not even for the family of this guy that got stabbed, but it's for her. So the suspect walks past. Then the guy and his girlfriend get up. They start walking the same direction as the suspect. Then the stabbing happens there. So they let this guy pass. And then they get up when he's not very far ahead of them, start walking in the same direction.
Not aware of their surroundings at all.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Situational awareness. Definitely don't put your life in bad situations. And 4 o'clock in the morning, that is pretty late to be out. Nothing good comes, like you said, nothing good will happen around that time of night.
They should have waited for him to get some distance past them and then gotten up.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Come and Talk It.
As always, more guns equals less crime. Go out there and buy yourself a gun. Hey, it's really important that you help us right now. We're in a fight for our life. So please share, subscribe, like, Come and Talk It.